for me, he's done so much for us. He has credit in the bank as far as I'm concerned. Let me finish. He has credit in the bank for me to come back from this, but I never want to see it again because he's worked hard for us in the majority of games. He's been pivotal in games for us. He led us only last week to our first trophy in 6 years and ended that drought. And he's someone that the manager has spoken very highly of.
Final out, by the way.
Sorry?
He stunk that final out, by the way.
So I don't think he did. I think he led the team brilliantly in that final. So from my point of view, the reason why I also will stand by Bruno, all the rivals I've seen that say we must sell him are the same people like yourself who say he's shit.
He is.
So if he's shit, why would any of our rivals be so desperate for him to leave?
No, I couldn't care less whether you keep him or not. What I'm trying to say,
I think you will do. I think what it is.
I think you cut me off on what I wanted to say. Yeah, I couldn't care less what you lot do. I genuinely couldn't care less about whether you keep Bruno or not. No, that was banter. Yeah, that was just a joke, right? And listen, you don't see me bantering Man United very often. Do you know why? Because they're a bigger football club and won more than Arsenal Football Club. Yeah, but the fact that my team are 5 points clear and then the next day you go and get spanked 7-0, it's mandatory. Yeah, and like I said, go and find me loads of other clips. You won't find other clips of me slagging Man United off. Yeah, because I don't. Because you're a bigger and more successful club than ours. Right? My point is, you're sitting there saying, oh, but we could get rid of some of these players at the end of the season and this and that. What's more important going forward for Manchester United fans and football club, right? Keeping the standards of Manchester United or getting the standards off the floor of Manchester United and getting them back to where they were under Fergie by teaching a lesson to all of the people that are coming into your club, i.e. new footballers in the summer and going forward from there, that if you do that, you're out, mate. Because if that was Fergie that had lost 7-0, if that was Ferguson that had lost 7-0, some of them players would never play again. Yeah, they would be in the... No, let me finish. I'm getting to my point. Let me finish. My point is, you said we've still got other competitions this season and blah, blah, blah. So my question to you is, what is more important to Manchester United going forward? Going and finishing the season with the same group of players, of which most of that group of players have failed Man United since they've been there. Yeah. Or setting an example that this is the standard Man United hold from now on. And if you don't reach it, you're at the football club. Now, every single player that comes into that football club now knows the standard. Oh my God, they got rid of Bruno. He didn't play again the rest of the season. Or Shaw didn't play again after that calamity. Now that is the standard. Instead, what you're saying is, go and finish the rest of the season. We might nick another cup. And what will happen if you do go and get another cup? All of that will get brushed under the carpet. They'll have a couple of good performances, and it'll be there's a new deal for Luke Shaw, there's a new deal for Bruno, and then around and around you go. Terry, we've had this at Arsenal, mate.
So that's a different scenario. So again, if Bruno comes back from this and is brilliant and more professional than we've seen, but by the way, the diving and the moaning and the bitching and play acting, he does that when we're winning. That's part of his character. I have no issue with any of that, none at all, because he does that win, lose, or draw. So that's aside from me. It was the lack of the rumors that Gary Neville created that he asked to come off are completely untrue. We've all seen the footage. He didn't say a word. He said that he was flapping his arms about. He wasn't. He had his arms by his side.
No,
the only bit, yeah, but no one. But there's no proof of what he was talking about. No one has. You know, he literally he shrugged his arms at something. There was no the way Gary Neville made that sound. We all listened to it on Sky. He's asking to come off and he's waving his arms about. That for me was Gary Neville angry and projecting a little bit. The thing that got to me about Bruno at the weekend was the lack of effort, especially like embodied by that Bajcetic situation. But if he bounces back from this and learns from it and performs for us, I'm happy for him to prove things wrong. However, to your question around setting an example, I totally understand. But even under Fergie, I saw players in games that we'd lost where we were three goals behind, no way of coming back. I've seen people do different ways. There's different ways of giving up. There's walking around on the pitch and not trying. But I've seen players stupidly get themselves sent off. And we know why they do it. They say, oh, it's out of anger, a moment of madness. No,
they don't want to be part of the calamity.
But exactly. But I've seen Man United captains of the past do that. Vidic do it. I've seen Roy Keane do it.
Yeah.
So, and yet they weren't sold the next morning. There are ways back from this, and your attitude shows it. So I think there has to be discipline installed by the manager, punishments installed by the manager. But what you can't sometimes do, and only the manager's going to know, is you can't always cut your nose off to spite your face. And you've got to get the balance right. And how will we know if the balance is right? Well, if we bounce back from this and this doesn't become a decline moment for the season, if we go on secure third, if we do well in the remaining cup competitions, maybe win one more, then for me, I feel that would be the proof that the manager has made the correct decision in the short term. In the longer term, we'll then see who he gets rid of in the summer and do these hammer-ins move over into next season as well, because this has been a really weird year for Man United, because up until yesterday, Sunday, we'd only lost one of our last 22 games, and that was against you guys 3-2. But the defeats we've had this year, barring you outclassed us, but the score was close. But the other sort of major defeats this year have all been hammer-ins. It's kind of weird how we're good, and then we get smashed, and then we go back to being really good again. I want to see that.
Eventually these crap players revert back to crap type.
No,
and the problem you have, Terry.
That was going to be my final point. Sorry, the final point was going to be in the summer, though. I still look at our starting lineup Sunday, and there are 4 or 5. That's only half the team who I look at and go, they are definitely on the chopping block. Weghorst isn't going to be the number one choice. There'll be options to bring in better players. Fred as an example, Shaw as an example, De Gea as an example, and for some Man United fans, even Bruno. So you could go as far as saying 6 of that starting lineup, which is more than half your team. There's 50-50 feeling amongst the fan base, and in some cases 70-80% feeling that they've got to go. And that's the one thing where I would defend our manager. He is still 9 months into his rebuild. And Man United are being bantered. Oh, your squad's not this. He's got to get rid of loads of players. They're not good enough. Only a week ago, people were saying to us, well, his rebuild's only been accelerated because he inherited a brilliant squad. I'm not saying you said that. So this is why I've been laughing today at the change of narrative. A week ago, the rebuild should be discredited because he's got a brilliant squad. Now it's a case of this season.
1 billion squad and added 250 to it. That was what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now it's like, oh my God, he's got this squad with no mentality. They're going to fall apart. He's got to get rid of 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. They're not good enough. The narrative changes every week. I'm going to stay consistent and be honest about this. We are not. That's why I would say to you, we're not in a title race. We've only beaten one of the top 6 teams away from home this year so far. We've had too many of these big, bad defeats. We are not at City and Arsenal's level in the league yet.
That doesn't stop you from getting Pam. That doesn't stop you getting Pam 7-0.
No. The 7-0 thing is
the title race has got nothing to do with it.
But the 7-0 thing is separate from me. I thought we'd lose a couple more games, and I said a few weeks ago on a match reaction, United fans enjoy it, but don't be surprised if we lose a couple more games badly this year. I didn't expect 7-0. I was talking more like the Villa games where we're just blown away in one half, 2 or 3 goals and don't get back into it. I expected that because we're 9 months into a rebuild where the way we play football.
You were due a beating.
And everything's changing. Exactly. I totally get that. But sometimes what you've not got to do in life is have a knee-jerk reaction and undo all the progression that you are making. And I'm talking about the manager here. The manager can't knee-jerk and start doing crazy stuff and throw the season away.
No, he can.
That'd be stupid.
And this is my point. This is my point. For the good and great of Manchester United and the respect for Manchester United, because the respect for Manchester United in board level around the world, in other boardrooms, is at an all-time low. If Man United wanted a player in previous years, they go and get the player. Since Fergie's gone, you're just a laughing stock in board levels. Yeah, same with Arsenal. Yeah, well, there you go. If you hear me out, pitch level, you've been an absolute laughing stock since Fergie's gone. Yep. Like, we've all seen the stats and the games where you've been Pam, Terry, like every year, 2, 3, 4 a season, right? So why care about the rest of the season? That's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, for me, if it was my club that had just happened to, I'd be sitting there saying, do you know what? Forget the rest of the season. Even if we don't make top 4, who cares? In the grand scheme, let me finish. In the grand scheme of things, getting Manchester United back to that fear factor, to that elite level, with a manager going forward that's going to have full control and have to get and instill that into a team, you have to have sacrifices now. And I don't
think you need to do that, Lee. I don't think you need to do that. So, no, go on, finish. But I don't think, all I'm going to say is that
you've just lost 7-0 to Liverpool, Terry. Of course you need to do that. You lost 5-0 last season. When's it end?
I don't feel like we have to write off our whole. I don't think we should give up our opportunity of winning the FA Cup and the Europa League and qualifying
that's
for
why
the Champions League.
That's why Man United have only just ended their longest drought without a trophy in 50 years.
Lee, that's nonsense. Rivals want us to throw it all away. Like in an ideal world today, what rivals want to hear is Man United have made an official announcement. Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, Weghorst, David De Gea, and Dalot will not kick the ball ever again for the rest of the club.
You're going extreme.
So
that's how far? But you cut me off.
But how far do you take it then? So what do you want him to do then?
I couldn't care less what he does. What I'm saying is, if it was my club, and if Arsenal had just lost 7-0, right, to Tottenham, and we had just won the League Cup previously, and we were sat third or fourth in the league, wherever you are, right, I would expect the same loser bottle jobs that put my football club in the longest trophy drought in 50 years, right, since the 70s. That was the longest trophy drought your club had been in. And you're sitting there defending Bruno, who, by the way, since he rocked up at your football club, has done nothing. Yeah, until he won a cup at the weekend, which, by the way, he wasn't integral in because he dropped a stinker in the final, to the point where Casemiro even had a word with him at full time. Yeah, that's an elite mindset, not him. He's a loser, mate. Yeah, and it's no coincidence. As soon as he left Sporting Lisbon, they won the league the following season. My point is, my point is, I hear what you're saying, but you're not giving me an example of what the manager should do. If you let me carry on,
what should he do then?
You cut me off like 4 times. I'm trying to get to the point. Every time I get to the point, you cut me off. My point is, Bruno. You don't need to put a statement out about Bruno or Luke Shaw. Don't even need to put 5 of them anywhere out the club. All you need to do is when the squad's picked for Betis, 1 or 2 of them ain't in it, and then all of a sudden the under-23s are playing and they're in that squad instead. Bruno, mate, you're in the under-23s this week, and you are until further notice. Yeah, that's a statement. Now, every single Man United player at that football club, fucking hell, he's put Bruno in there. He's our captain. He's in the under-23s. He's kicked Ronaldo out. Yeah. Oh, my God. Now the captain's in there, and that it brings the standards up to show that is not an acceptable level. You lost 5-0 last season to Man United, to Liverpool. What was the outcome after that? What happened? Oh, they all kept their jobs and they were all great.
So dropping Bruno drop him for the Real Betis game and a Southampton
for the rest of the season.
So, but this is the point, though. This is what I just said. I think if you get rid of Bruno for the rest of the season, I think we go backwards. But who's going to create our goals for us in other games?
You go forwards.
What you have to do is you have to go forwards. I don't believe it's going to impact that way. When Ronaldo left, no, but I don't believe just getting rid of Bruno is going to help us.
No, I'm not just saying just get rid of Bruno. At the same time, you're saying hang on, mate. At the same time, you're saying the standards are low, but then you're also saying sacrifice the chance of qualifying for the Champions League and winning more trophies. You're totally misunderstanding what I'm saying.
No, I'm not misunderstanding what you're saying.
No, I get the reason behind why I'm saying it.
Lee, I get it. Your view.
Well, you don't. You should keep cutting me off, Terry.
I get.
You're saying that
Lee, I get it.
Okay, let me know when I can speak. Yeah?
I bet you I can explain it back to you. You're saying if we make the statement of putting Bruno out the squad for the rest of the season, everybody else will get such a kick up the arse, it'll raise the standards and will be better in the long term.
No, well, that's part of the reason, yeah. But not only that, Terry, yeah, right? Any player coming to Man United in the future now knows that is the fucking standards. And if you go and do that and embarrass that football club, yeah, because he played last season in the 5-0, yeah, and now it's 7. So where's the cutoff? Because he didn't get kicked out last summer. He played again, and now he was captain, and you lose 7. Is it 8-0, 9-0, 10? When does it become okay, cool, now enough's enough?
And I understand your point, and I understand where that's what I'm saying.
Heads must roll, Terry. Heads must roll.
I understand your logic, but I think you can there's more than one way to skin a cat. You can still get something out of this season. You can still perform this season, and you don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Rivals are desperate for Bruno to be this.
Nothing to do with rivals, Terry. It's about Manchester United going back to the standards
let me finish my point about my club, because at the end of the day, I think just kicking him out the squad for the rest of the season will do very little to improve us in the long term. He's an integral player of this squad. He was very integral in us winning the trophy. Whether you like him or not is irrelevant. A lot of Man United fans know what he's brought to us. The manager has already come out and stated since Sunday how important he is to this club.
That important. He never played him in centre mid all game against Liverpool.
Well, because
he doesn't trust him then, does he?
No, it's nothing about not. Okay, you take it in that way, Lee. I don't.
Why didn't he, all the players he could have played in centre mid, yeah, and he put him on the left, and not once did he play him centre mid. Why? So you don't trust him.
Okay, well, you think it's not trusting him. I put it down to he's utilizing him in positions that we're short in because he trusts him enough.
Sancho sat on the bench. Yeah, Garnacho sat on the bench.
And Sancho and Garnacho have not been starting large amount of games. He tried
Which is exactly why they should have then perhaps come on or started.
So he doesn't trust Bruno Fernandes in the 10 role, but he trusts Bruno Fernandes in a position on the left where he's got left-sided attackers who are better than Bruno in those positions.
Before. So I'm going to play you on the left side and trust you there when I've got two left wingers on the bench.
So he doesn't trust him to play in his natural position, but he trusts him to play ahead of Sancho in Sancho's natural position. That don't make sense.
Well, no, you're just telling me that they haven't played many games. So maybe they're not quite fit, Terry. Maybe you don't trust Garnacho less than you don't trust Bruno. Maybe with all the dramas that Sancho's had this season, maybe he's trying to ease him back in gently.
As I say, bruv, look, we obviously got to move on to go on to the Arsenal.
Sorry, I couldn't care less what you do. What I'm saying is,
if you do care because you're making a point out of it. You do care because you're talking about it.
Yeah, because you asked me the question.
Yeah, and I'm giving you a response.
I've come on the show to give my thoughts on a topic.
So you care. Like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't be doing this as a job. Like, we all care about our opinions going out there.
Sorry, let me ask you one more thing before we move on then, yeah? If this happened at Real Madrid and they just won a cup and they were sat third in the league, right? And they just won the League Cup in their league, right? Their League Cup, right? And then they got battered 7-0 by Barcelona. Do you think any of them players or manager would have been sacked now?
So I've seen
yes or no. It's a simple question.
I'm giving you an answer. It's not. I'll say no, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example. I've seen Real Madrid fans smash the cars of players that have been angry with their performances on, and those players have stayed at the club and gone on to win Champions Leagues. So no, factually, there are players that have put in disgusting performances at Madrid where fans have attacked their cars after games, and those players have remained at the club and gone on to win Champions Leagues for
them. Some of them, not all of them.
So yeah, I get that, but the point is this: not every player at big clubs gets sacked after disgraceful performances. Otherwise, everybody at some point would get sacked from a club. It doesn't happen as regularly as you're making out. It just doesn't happen like that.
No, I haven't made out anything, Terry. What I'm saying is,
you are stating that if this was Real Madrid, Bruno would be sacked.
Real Madrid, the manager would have been sacked.
Bullshit.
Fact, the manager would 100% been sacked.
Yeah, but at the same time, but you say that about your club. If we were Real Madrid, we'd have sacked our manager, but you're not Real Madrid, you're Arsenal. So
no, which is why Real Madrid are the most elite football club on the planet, Terry, because they keep their standards elite.
I hear you on that. I'm standing by Bruno Fernandes. I believe he can bounce back from this, and well, that's fine. But I believe I am not throwing my toys out the pram over this defeat. It's humbling and it's embarrassing, and I'm angry at the players. But I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, turn my back on 3, 4, 5 of my players, start going at my manager, talking about sacking people. There are some Man United fans talking about maybe we shouldn't have got rid of Ollie. The desperation for attention online over there. Hang on, Lee, please let me finish. Please let me finish. I'm not going to throw baby out with the bathwater over it. I'm more angry at what people are saying than the result. It's crazy. I'm not doing it. Man United can finish this season strong, and we will. In my opinion, we can discipline people in our own way, and we'll go on to another level next year. The improvements 9 months into this rebuild are sensational, and this result doesn't define it, as embarrassing as it is. Viewers, listen, we're going to go to some of your super chats.